What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Support Group Gaming. I'm a therapist who games, and today we are going to be reviewing Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac Games. But before we get into that, if you guys can do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, because my philosophy is if you enjoy the vibe, why not like and subscribe? Now let's get into it. Spider-Man 2, one of the most anticipated games, released for the PlayStation 5 on October 20th, 2023. And let me tell you, when it comes to the cream of the crop, AAA gaming, high budget, Spider-Man 2 takes the cake. This game sets the standard for what the PlayStation 5 is truly capable of. Spider-Man 2 was the sequel to Spider-Man 1 that came out for the PS4, as well as Spider-Man the Miles Morales add-on. More like DLC, but it was an add-on. And both games were amazing. We're not going to review them here because, we're reviewing part 2. And those games were also games that set an industry standard. And so, using the same engine, Spider-Man 2 released, and they just built upon what they had already put in the work to master the previous games. The game takes place 10 months after the events that happened in the Miles Morales story. It takes place in New York, but this time the game stretches way further than the first two, including, cities like Harlem, and I know there's Brooklyn in there, and there's Queens in there, and there's just a huge playground, sandbox, if you will, to just swing around the city, glide through the city, and things like that. One thing that this game implemented that the others didn't was the ability to glide. And when you're webbing, you can find air pockets through the city to just speed glide across the city. It makes the game so much more fun getting around the city versus if you were to fast travel. But let me tell you, there's games. Part one, when you would fast travel, they take you to the loading screen, while you're on the subway. It takes a couple seconds, and then boom, you're wherever you want it to go. In this game, the fast travel is instant. You bring up the map, and if there's a spot that you've unlocked to fast travel, because you do have to unlock different areas, you have to clear out all of the tasks in that area in order to be able to unlock the fast travel feature. And so once you do that, if you bring up a part on the map and you say, this is where I want to go, it will literally just zoom right in, and then Spider-Man is swinging right into that part of the map. And for them to have the ability to do that, it's just amazing, because it just seems like there's no load time. You can literally swing from one part of one side of the city to the other with no loading. And the way they're able to do that is just beyond me. Again, that shows the power of the PS5. And so, like the previous two, the game mechanics are pretty much the same. The fighting is pretty much the same. You can still wear different suits that you unlock. You still have the different spider gadgets that he uses, and you still have, the different abilities. You kind of go through the skill tree, and you're learning, different abilities using the skill points that you unlock as you level up your character. The way the game moves seamless from gameplay to cutscene, gameplay to cutscene, is some of the smoothest, seamless transitions that I have seen. And what really stands out, like I said, for those who have played part one, and the Miles Morales, as you can see on the monitor there, the fighting is very similar to the Batman Arkham series, where you have the ability to battle multiple enemies on the screen. The Your spider senses show when you should dodge, when you should parry attacks, and you can incorporate different combos, air combos. You can incorporate your spider gadgets. You can also incorporate your special moves that you learn, such as, like, for Miles Morales, he has his Venom punch, the Venom, his Venom moves. With Peter, he has his different, spider moves. And the beauty is, even though the controls are the same, both Spider-Mans play really differently. Like, their combos are different, their maneuvers are different, and whenever you switch between the two characters, you feel the difference, when you're playing. And that's another thing. This game gives you the ability to switch freely amongst Miles and Peter. But in order to progress at some parts of the story, you'll have to switch between, one or the other. And then there's also other, like, side missions that can only be done by one or the other. So they really do a great job at incorporating switching. It's very, very similar to how the game, how Rockstar did GTA 5. So now I want to talk about the plot of the game, but in a spoiler-free way. I'm not going to spoil it because the game is still fresh and a lot of people have not played it yet. But one thing I will say, without spoiling anything, is that the main driving force of this game, as you can see in the trailers and whatnot, that Kraven the Hunter is a major player in this game. Basically, he comes to New York City because the people that he's been hunting just isn't a challenge, and he finds out about the supervillains, and so he makes his way to New York in order to, I guess, fulfill his, thrill of the chase, thrill of the hunt. And along the way, the Venom becomes a major player. And the only reason why I bring up Venom is because he's in trailers, and so everybody knows that Venom is going to be in this game. You see Spider-Man with the symbiotic suit on, and so that's all I'll say. But I will say this: this game, from beginning to end, action-packed, masterpiece, high tech. I mean, I can't even find the words to describe how amazingly done the action scenes are, and the plot of the game has you on the edge of your seat. When I was playing this game, I was on the edge of my seat. I did not know what to expect next, because in this Spider-Man series, or Insomniac Games has taken complete creative control over the story and the plot. As you can see in part 1, there was a major person who died in part 1. I'm not going to say it just in case nobody is, for somebody who hasn't played it, but I hadn't seen another Spider-Man where that person died, and so I said, "Oh snap, like this is different." And so while playing this, it was very hard for me. It was very hard for me to predict what might happen next, and that's what the beauty of it was, is because you couldn't predict, like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Well, this is what happened in the comic book, or this is no. The way they did this story, origin stories, and things like that are completely different from what has been mainstream so far. Venom's origin story, and different things like that. But like I said, one thing I'll say is, scene after scene, high action, blockbuster movie status. I really enjoyed the plot of this game and the way they used Peter and Miles and Mary Jane and Harry and Osborne and Professor Connors and just everybody that was associated in this story. It was all very well done, and it will definitely leave you on the edge of your seat. It will leave you wanting more. It will leave you just in awe. And so, with that said, I would have to give Spider-Man 2 my therapist rating of cope with it, because this is a game you can sit down and play and completely forget about anything that's going on outside of the game. You sit down, you put your headphones on, and you really go on this journey of Miles and Peter Parker. And what I might do at one point is put out a spoiler review, but as of right now, because this game is fresh, I'm not going to do that. I just want you guys to go in and enjoy it. And so with that said, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think about this game. To me, 10 out of 10. There's not one thing that I would change. And with that said, thank you guys for joining me here, and I will see you guys next time for my next review. You guys take care. Peace.